Thank you for tuning in to an episode of Crown Check. Today is a message to the youth about coronavirus. Coronavirus are a family of viruses known for containing strains that cause potentially deadly diseases in mammals and birds. In humans, they're typically spread via airborne droplets of fluid produced by infected individuals. Some rare but notable strains include SARS-CoV-2, responsible for COVID-19, and those responsible for severe acute respiratory syndrome, and Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, can cause death in humans. So that SARS, MERS, and COVID-19, which is the current situation. The name and origin comes from a distinctive corona, aka crown, of sugary proteins that projects from the envelope surrounding the particle. So the particle in our body develops a sugary protein. Okay. There are 4 known geniuses in the family: alpha coronavirus, beta coronavirus, gamma coronavirus, and delta coronavirus. The first 2 only infect mammals, including bats, pigs, cats, and humans. Gamma coronavirus mostly infects birds, such as poultry, while delta coronavirus can infect both birds and mammals. SARS corona. SARS was first recognized as a distinct strain of coronavirus in 2003. The source of the virus has never been clear. MERS, first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012 in people displaying symptoms of fever, cough, shortness of breath, and occasional gestational problems such as diarrhea. Coronaviruses are zoonotic, meaning they are transmitted between animals and people. COVID-19 is a new strain that was not previously identified in humans. Severe cases can cause pneumonia, SARS, kidney failure, and death. Ohio has 37 cases so far. Schools may close for remainder of the school year. 31 to 86-year-old people identified both female and male, 13 female and 23 males, while 11 are hospitalized, yet no cases of death. So that part basically covers what the coronavirus is, where it actually came from, who can get it, and how it's transmitted. Those are the basic facts that we need to know to basically prepare ourselves to be able to prevent ourselves in the best way possible of the virus. So that was the informational part that I really wanted to get out before I get to the part that's the actual message. So stay with me. Is it? Okay, it's moving. Okay. Now that I was able to cover all the important things in the first part of this, let's talk for real. So, to have this be a very great segue and to actually thank the person who is going to bring this topic up, Adrienne Byline shares with her audience on The Real that when she's at home, she does not wash her hands and does not feel the need to wash her hands. Now, the reason I say thank you for saying this is because it's going to help me prove a point, and it's also going to actually have an actual visual person, so you can say who do this, she does this, and the reality is there are other people who also do this and have the same feelings and sentiments, okay? For the fact that there are people out there who touch their bodily selves and feel as if they're clean so they can do so, not thinking of how their germs can affect someone else's immune system, is exactly why, just on an everyday basis, regardless of the coronavirus or not, how you should be living. This particular pandemic to me and the outrage of how the people are reacting is just, to me, it's so totally gross. It makes me feel very happy and glad that I had a mother who was very um clean, who was very, friendly, but let's keep it at a distance. And that's always been the case. Just something as simple as something that we all commonly know as girls growing up, that guys will use the bathroom and don't wash their hands. Regardless of if that's a myth or not, we know that there's some type of truth that comes from that. And there are people that actually do not wash their hands on a regular basis. So, just as small as things as the common cold or the flu, and the reason I say those are small is because that we have modern medicine and cure for those. But just the simple fact on when you have children, you could take them to daycare. You don't want them to get hands, mouth, and foot because of all of the different germs that we as people come in contact with. And the bigger your family is, the bigger your home is the more different contacts that you go into the world with people. If it's you, your sibling, and one parent plus two parent, that would be four. You're all going to different points in the world, interacting with different people who are also doing the same thing. So for me, especially when you are someone who occupies a public space, to feel that you're not trying to contribute to just being clean and leaving less of a mess, less of germs. That's the reason we take baths. It's not necessarily for the smell, but it's just to actually be aware of all the things that we come in contact with on an everyday basis. You know, um, we're a society of movers and mixers, so a lot of people pride themselves on being very sociable, like Adrian Bayline, who someone you would not believe is unclean or who doesn't wash her hands. And to the point of what she said, she just does this at home, but how many people do this at home, get called out, and now they're going through the world and they haven't washed their hands since they left, but they also, since they haven't been out, have used the restroom to have to wash their hands from being in the house. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy to me. Like, I went to the store just to simply get laundry detergent and Fabuloso because I like to add it to my mop water just because it gives a scent and it's really nice. And just to go get that, like, shelves are bare. Um, Kroger and Walmart are big where I am, and people have just went through pillaging, and I'm just like, to me it makes no sense, and it makes me say, like, how dirty were you on an everyday basis, that opposed to everyone going out and get one or two additional to what you should already have. Like, it's just really gross to me. And that makes it hard to date as well. That makes it hard to find someone who has the basic levels of cleanliness and self-respect, because it's like you're not supposed to mix and mingle with everybody for this simple reason, because there are other things that we know of that are also airborne, that are also transmitted through bodily fluids. So if you've been like living due diligently and trying to avoid them, the coronavirus really isn't that much of a pandemic for you. I feel like the only people who should really possibly be upping their situations are maybe people who are in the life of business meetings, who deal with import exports, or work in a high traffic place, and but for people who know that they're in an everyday routine, you don't move and the people around you are not moving out of, areas, then move accordingly. Because in reality, if someone is in your circle, is out of the norm, has went somewhere, if they're out of the norm, they're gonna brag about it. You're gonna know about it. So then you can make precautions to stay away from them and to kind of help isolate the situation. But to OD and go get all of these extra things, it makes no sense. Like, I would totally understand pulling back from going to public places for sure. But to go to the stores in droves to get all of the supplies, like, let's be completely honest. If you do, in fact, contract the coronavirus, hand sanitizer is not the solution. Hand sanitizer is not the medicine. And to be honest, if it's airborne, hand sanitizer is not going to stop you from spreading it if that is how it is spread. So within our movements, let's be rational, you know. Um but I do like how it is creating a sense of awareness, but it's an awareness that you should live your lives with every day anyways. This is something that should be second nature. This is something that should be common sense. Like I said, for me, society has really shown me just how gross people are, because it's how you believed you are, because of how much things you had to go get, you know. Yeah, and let's be quite clear. If you don't wash your hands naturally on a daily basis, you picking up, no, some sanitizer isn't really gonna become an easy habit for you either, because you don't feel gross. So, yeah, my message to the youth is to be a clean person. Take a shower, wash your hands, and, keep contact to a minimum, because if you keep contact to a minimum, a lot of other problems is like Me Too and sexual harassment situations wouldn't even happen, if everybody just wanted their own space and you can conversate and flirt through words and say no through words, life would be easy, but all of this extra contact is unnecessary. And so while the coronavirus is very real and very serious, so is all the other things that are already discovered out there. So let's calm down, let's chill, let's use common sense, and let's use antibacterial soap. Okay, thank you. That was Real Talk, and see y'all in a week or so and see if y'all have calmed down.